Hi and welcome back. I'm Jeff Gersman. We're here. It's time for the next episode of Tacoma. And we're here to talk Tacoma with my co-host Steve Gaynor.
Hey, it's good to see you,
always,
buddy.
Always great to see you.
I mean, I could talk Oma day and night. I'm just glad to be here with you.
Yeah, no, it's always great when we get together like this and talk Tacoma or Tacoma.
Right.
As
I noticed that you fucked that up for a second,
well,
but I'm going to forgive you for it.
Well,
cool.
it's okay. And we have a lot of wonderful guests here with us. From Sea of Thieves, we've got Joe back there. How's it going?
Yeah, I just learned I can swear on the podcast. Yes, that's good.
That's good. Everybody's in now.
Yeah, great. Now I'm in.
From Turn 10 back there, we got Brian Ekberg.
Hey, what's up, Jeff?
How's it going?
Great
Good to see you.
You as well.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
We've got Clint Bundrick from Crackdown here. Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and Chris Charla from ID at Xbox. The guy that makes games happen on the Xbox. 100% of them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single one.
I mean, we basically tell Chris the game we want, and he makes it. And he puts it up on Xbox,
Ask him
and
to
then
tighten up the graphics a little bit.
Yeah, no, you send it back to them and go, is this okay? And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
More feel, or
it's a
I mean,
wonderful
in your
system.
case, you probably go like, it needs more tiers.
Right. Yeah. If you can just inject a few more feels into it, I think then we're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's a great system.
I mean, a pretty big show, like a lot of games announced. I mean, shown. It's been a long time since something like Crackdown. How does it feel to get out there and actually show a video game?
It's been great. I mean, we hadn't shown anything of campaign.
Yeah.
This was the first time we've shown campaign, and that we've been able to talk openly about campaign and how we were kind of changing it, retaining what made the original special, but kind of taking it back to its roots as well.
Sure, yeah, and that's got to be hard, I figure, because just so much has happened in open world gaming since Crackdown 1. Well, I mean, Saints Row the Third happened, right?
Of course.
I mean, that's
which I worked on.
You worked on that, so at some point I was like, well, okay, yeah, if you're gonna make another open world game, probably some people that touched Saints Row the Third should be on that. So
And Red Faction Guerrilla as well with Destruction.
right?
So.
So okay,
It was a pretty good match.
All right, yeah, I guess this is starting to make a lot more sense.
Pretty good
Did
match.
someone just come to you and go like, hey, do you want to come? We need to do a thing that does the blow up stuff from the Red Faction, but also like the fun and jump and dash and crazy stuff that maybe Saints Row had some
So
of.
you read the design document.
Yeah, I'm writing
exactly
a new one,
the
right?
design
Yeah, it's a
document.
run and jump and dash and agent. That's pretty much it, right?
It's just stick figures.
Yeah.
Like, I don't jump forward. And that's it.
Okay, great. Yeah, awesome. And Sea of Thieves, being shown again here this year. You've had like an insider's alpha running for a while.
Yeah, since December actually last year.
Yeah, and
Started
so
with
did all those people get access to kind of like the E3 content?
yeah, today actually. So yeah. So we held because we've been going through the alpha. We've been delivering features pretty much as they're ready. But then for the last month, our productivity has slowed in the eyes of the community because we were holding back a bunch of stuff, right? Because we wanted to surprise and delight those guys as much as we wanted to surprise and delight the kind of broader audience who maybe haven't been following the videos we've been releasing and the kind of insights and stuff. And yeah, the reaction from both the kind of the committed and the guys who are yet to commit but they're coming, has been really fantastic. So.
Yeah, I've definitely, we were over at the showcase event yesterday and definitely like that.
Oh, cool, you got hands on?
It's looking really cool. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
So it's exciting to see that kind of continuing along.
Yeah, it's super exciting.
Brian, Forza 7, I'm not going to sit here and say, wow, what a surprise. It's going to be another Forza game.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, that's got to be cool. Car games, I think for a very long time have been the thing you show when you've got power to illustrate. Like, look at how round these tires are. Look at how shiny
things are.
Yeah, look at this wet-ass road.
Look how frame rate consistent this is.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a great, you're right, it's a great technical showcase. And Forza Motorsport 7, I don't think it was a mistake that we were the first ones to be on stage after Phil talked about Xbox One X because, a lot of the things that the team has been working on for so long has been built with the Xbox One X in mind.
Right.
Working with the platform very closely. and really trying to build at least a showcase for what the platform can do.
And I imagine some of that goes back to even like Forza 6 Apex. Like that was when that was first shown off prior to release. Like it was very much like, hey, we've got this running on 4K, running at 4K, and then they show this PC in the clear box that's just like a nightmare machine. Right. It's like they're just
like trembling.
Yeah, someone's like cutting their hand and dripping blood into it to keep the frame rate up and all this stuff. And yeah, now here we are, a console pretty much doing that stuff
Apex,
and then some.
That's right. Apex was really important for us. It was, obviously it had come out after Forza Motorsport 6, which was on Xbox One, of course. But it was our first steps into that, not just the 4K world, but the PC world.
Sure.
Which racing and PC go together, right? And you think about great racing games, you think about PC
there
a lot
are
of times.
3,000 different racing wheels.
Out there, exactly. Yeah. So it was really important for us to start taking those first steps with Apex, learning what we could do right. We can make a 4K game on PC, and learning the kinds of things that the community wanted, the racing fans want. They want those options to be able to unlock the frame rate and tune things the way they want it. And then, not long after Apex, we had Forza Horizon 3, built on Windows 10 for 4K. So it's just been this really interesting process to watch, as the community manager, watch the team sort of learn how to do these things, make the mistakes that we need to make, and learn from them and get better. And here we are, 2 years later, year and a half after Apex, I suppose, and we're Xbox One S 4K ready, 4K native, and wow, the game looks amazing.
Yeah, like I said, it's a wet ass road.
Super wet.
Yeah. And of course, Tacoma. It's like a conflict of interest to be on Tacoma talking about Tacoma.
Right.
We probably should mention it. That game is done.
It's what the people crave.
100% finished in the can. That's why you're here.
You're on vacation.
Yeah. It's actually a law that when you announce your release date, the game has to be totally done. There's never been a game that's had its release date announced before it was done.
Right.
Things unlock.
Yeah. So because we don't break the law-abiding citizens. Of course you're right, Jeff.
No, you're definitely not rushing.
Right. There's definitely no reason that I'm getting on a plane at 9:45 tonight to go back to Portland instead of
just to hang out. You're like, E3, all these people
Sometimes
here.
when you finish the game, you just want to look at that gold disc. And
right. Exactly.
Still done.
You need to take the photo of it.
Yeah.
You need to be like, look at it.
That's another thing that they don't tell you. Even when you're just making a download game, you still get a gold disc.
That's right.
Every single game.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
That's important. That's important. So, what's left at this point?
We're at the point where we've been really solid on the story, the content, the environment, everything. Like all of the game is there, and we're super happy with it. And then it's like technical, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, making sure all the platform features are solid. Getting stuff through cert. It's like at the end when you have a really stable game or relatively stable game as far as what's in it, you can do all that final work of like, okay, here's all the tuning, all the like you're saying, making sure it hits an acceptable frame rate. Like you guys, I feel like live in that world of like that's on your bullet point list. It's like, okay, performance resolution is like right up near. I'm sure that when the way you guys work, you're like focused on that stuff every day all throughout the whole process.
It has to be built for us. It has to be part of the DNA of the game, right?
Right.
People expect that 60 frames per second, especially from Forza, because we talk about it all the time.
Right.
It's just one of these things it's bedrock for Forza. So, it was great when Chris Tector, our lead architect, was talking about putting Forza on Scorpio hardware for the first time and seeing it run really well right out of the box with minimal types of adjustments and things like that. It was a real proof point for us to say, hey, we're heading in the right direction, not just with this hardware, but also with our engine. The Forza Tech engine is solid, and it can do this. But you're right; it's part of everything we do.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, for a studio that's more focused, that well, A, a lot smaller. You guys, I think, probably have a bigger tech team than our entire studio.
Just a little, maybe.
But B, that we are kind of looking at the game holistically all the way through.
Sure.
There's also a lot of content exploration that goes on during the development of the game. You're sort of discovering like, wait, maybe this thing works like differently than we expected, or
this thing should probably be over here.
Right, and those kinds of adjustments kind of make the best time to really say like, okay, we're gonna get this stuff running well to be when you're like, all right, we're not moving the couches around anymore. We're not going to add a character here. It's just like, here it is. Make sure it's all as solid as we can, and then get it out there to the people.
Yeah. And so, Chris, you know, as you know, you're like the tip of the spear when it comes to like working with developers that want to put games on Xbox One.
Yep.
So, what's that been like with with Xbox One X, coming? like how's that been?
It's been pretty awesome. Like there were some like internal studios who kind of we got the word back, and they were doing the really early testing with super early hardware. And they were like, it took us a day, or it took us 2 days. It was really quick. I'm not going to name the studios, but so then we're like, okay, well, that's awesome. Like, and so we finally got dev kits, and we were sending dev kits out to a lot of independent developers, and we're like, we heard it takes a day, and we'll see what happens. And then we started to get, whenever FedEx delivers the dev kits, and we were starting to get calls like the next day where people were like, it took a day. Huh, and then, the other thing that's been super cool is, like, a lot of times developers send us builds, and a lot of times developers, like, they don't need to send us builds till the game's done. Like, we're not in there trying to play the game.
Sure,
we do if people want us to, but it doesn't always happen. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody who's been working on an Xbox One X game has been like, can I send you the build? It's like, they couldn't send it to anybody else. They couldn't share it with anyone. It's all secret, and they're like, somebody's got to play this. So it's been really fun. So we got all these, I'd talk to somebody and be like, oh, how's this game looking? Or, how are they doing with Scorpio? I'm like, they think they're 4K 60. I'm like, oh, really? Like, are you sure? And he's like, I'm playing the build. So it seems like it's been a really, really good experience. And now it's just about getting more dev kits out to developers and going more and more.
Right. And so I guess, like, from the technical end of that thing, or the technical aspects of that is, like, a lot of that work would be done, I guess, if you were developing a PC version of the game, right? So it does end up kind of like sitting in the middle of, like, if a developer is doing Xbox One and they're doing PC, does the Scorpio kind of fall somewhere in that chain?
No,
like,
I mean,
is that part of why it's so easy?
Yeah, no. From a development perspective, it's really. I think the reason it's so straightforward is because it's an Xbox, right?
Sure,
like, Xbox One X is just part of the Xbox One family, and so the actual amount of work you need to do to make the game sort of Scorpio aware, and then you can start to do things like be putting in higher resolution textures and that kind of stuff is really straightforward. Mm-hmm. Like I'll just say this, like, I saw the PowerPoint presented by the engineers about how to do it, and I understood it, and I was like, okay, this is straightforward. And and what the platform team has done with the hardware is just ridiculous. And so it's been luckily, it's been a pretty easy process for everybody.
Cool. For something like Crackdown 3 that's kind of been in the pipeline for a pretty long time here, is that something that, like, had to change at some point? Like, I guess I expected there to be some kind of announcement in this press conference that was just like, we talked about using the cloud to render things in Crackdown 3, and now we're putting a cloud under your television set in Scorpio, and we don't need it.
It's a vape cloud.
Yeah. The vapor chamber is right here, ready to go. So that seems like it's kind of a moving target in a way that changes some things about development of a game.
Well, the big thing for us is we hadn't shown anything of campaign before. Everything we'd shown previously was all of our cloud tech, and that's actually for our competitive multiplayer experience. Mm-hmm. So in the simplest way to think of it, in campaign, you're the agent saving the city. You can play it offline in single player. You can play it online in 4-player co-op. And then in competitive multiplayer, you're demolishing it, tearing buildings down and everything else. Yeah. And that's still absolutely part of the game. But we kept hearing, like, where's the campaign? Where's the campaign? Where's the game, right? Because we talk so much about tech, but what the hell does tech mean if you don't actually have a game? Mm-hmm. And we wanted to come out and actually show the campaign game.
Yeah. And so what's been the philosophy? I guess, like, that seems like a fairly dramatic split, I guess, with, destruction, non-destruction, and stuff like that. But I guess, like, some of that probably filters into, like, hey, you can make sure that you can play the campaign offline.
Correct.
And stuff like that.
Yeah,
we want to hook up to some fancy server somewhere.
Correct.
Well, and as you know, having a single-player campaign where you can just blow up the entire game world makes it a little harder to make sure you can, like, get to where you need to go and stuff. I imagine.
It's like
I would assume.
You're just going to end up with, like, a bunch of agility orbs up there and no way to go. Like, well, I guess I fucked this up. You just need to put tools in the game where you just reconstruct all the buildings and then you just do it again.
If you listen carefully, one of our programmers is hero's crying somewhere, and he doesn't know why.
Oh well, yeah, yeah. So, I've seen Crackdown 3 and all that sort of stuff, but I feel like there hasn't been a ton of discussion. Like, so does it just fit in after the? So I'm trying to remember. Crackdown 1. At the end of Crackdown 1, you realize that the voice that's been telling you to do stuff is evil.
Spoilers.
Sorry, I mean,
Come on!
Some people haven't played Crackdown.
Atlas is not. And then Crackdown 2 for me is kind of a weird blur, where it was like, was that a reset and you just knew that you were bad the whole time? Do you remember? Where does Crackdown 3 fit in, like story-wise?
So Crackdown 3 takes place a little more than 10 years. Set after Crackdown 2.
Okay.
So we're keeping a lot of story details under wraps at E3, but play as an agent, forms part of the agency. This big attack, the agency tracks it back to this new island called New Providence. It's about twice the size of the island in the original. Not only twice the footprint, but the tallest building in the original was the agency tower.
Mm-hmm.
Now this new island is completely crime controlled. There's no agency presence in it at all.
Right.
And the tallest tower in it is twice as tall as the one in the original.
And full of crime.
And yes,
just teeming.
Just ridiculous amounts of crime.
Yeah.
Just stepping over it in the street.
Just like shoes full of crime. By the end of it. Yuck.
Smells like crime.
Yeah, delicious.
And so, of course, the agency rolls in with the hubris that the agency always rolls in with, expecting the hero's welcome, and things don't quite go that way.
Speaking of crime, piracy. Let's talk about it. It's a real problem. The high seas. This is. It's been interesting, kind of seeing people that have been playing in some of that technical alpha and talking about it a little bit here and there.
Yeah, sure. And they've been sharing their stories. Man.
Yeah,
it's been good. Yeah, we made a decision early on that they could share stories out of the technical alpha. Like we had the NDA up for kind of videos and screenshots and stuff, but we allowed them to kind of talk about their experiences on the Reddit and in the forums. And stuff. And it's been. We believed that players would have really interesting stories to tell. In a game like Sea of Thieves. So it's been really fun.
And that's been interesting to see, because I feel like you hear a lot about games that are just like, oh, the player stories are going to be so amazing, and but very few of them actually seem to follow through with that. And so it's been really neat to see Sea of Thieves, like people are like very much talking about their specific experiences with the game. How much of the game is like a directed narrative? Is there still like kind of a full campaign through that, or is it really just like, let's get this boat and go?
Yeah, so players are going to be, like the ultimate goal for the player, they're kind of on a quest to become a pirate legend, right? In the world of Sea of Thieves. It's this big multiplayer shared world game, and it's a game we want to continue to support for as long as it's humanly possible. And we're going to be constantly kind of adding new ways to play and new things to go and pursue. And our progression system, it's not going to just kind of stop, right? You're not just going to have a level 60 or whatever. You get to it and then you're like, what do I do? Every time we add new ways to play, we add new quests in. We're going to be rewarding players who go and pursue that, and they kind of can build up their reputation and their legend around these new areas that come into the game. So there's always going to be new things to kind of go after and pursue. So it's kind of, you're always going to be chasing that legend and how you show up against other players, right? And so there's always going to be new things to do to kind of to build on it and to grow on it. And I'm really looking forward to kind of getting that into players' hands, because at the moment what we're kind of showing here, we're really showing that we've got this amazing emergent kind of session experience where you've got goals, you've got quests that you're going after, but like whatever you're deciding to do or trying to do, it really doesn't go to plan, because like the world kind of fucks with you, right? So you've got the storms, you've got the sharks, you've got the skeletons, you've got rocks if you can't see them out at sea.
If everything went according to plan, it would not be like a ragtag pirate adventure, right? So,
and then there's other players in that world, right? So I think what the magic of this game is that like you and your crew going on this adventure with your goals, trying to achieve them, and things just happening along the way because of the world, because of the systems that we've put in there and the tools you've got to kind of create emergence, like firing out of cannons, best feature ever. But then there's also going to be other players going on their journeys, and then when those kind of journeys intersplice or kind of collide, you just get such incredible moments. And we're in a world, right, where I don't know, 5-10 years ago, that would have been you go and tell people at work, right, or you post it in a forum or something else. But today, people want to create videos, they want to share that, right? And I genuinely believe once we lift the NDA on this, and we haven't decided exactly when yet, but when we do, I think we're going to go crazy, because we know that there's so much just variety and just charm in all of those stories that you have. So I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. Like I feel like one of the other big games that's been like very player story heavy. I didn't even expect it to be that way, but it's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And
that was what I was thinking about. I've been
yeah.
streaming a lot of that.
Yeah, we've been streaming it here and there, but it's mostly just been, you know, because I play a lot better when we're not. No, I swear, I play a lot better when we're not.
Everyone here believes you.
Yeah. I posted a picture. I won a solo once. Okay, 12 kills.
Nice.
12.
Yeah, I mean that sounds hard to Photoshop.
I'm almost done with you guys. But that's been a game that's been like great for this stuff.
Yeah. That game's been awesome, and we've had like a ton of like, you know, I didn't say water cooler, except for we have a water cooler.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
We have a break room with free soda. Anyway, it's been a big break room with free soda conversation topic, but like I was very proud of myself because I got a top 10, and because I'm not a good video game player, and so I came to work and I was like, I got a top 10, and then the people I told were just like, you camped. No, I got a top 10. Like, camping is an acceptable strategy. Right? I'm not saying I can't. I'm not saying I hid in a closet for most of the game and got like 3 kills. I'm just saying top 10.
It was under a bed, all right? I hid under the bed.
The one that I won, I got a really good shotgun right off the bat, and then just hid upstairs for a long time. People kept walking up there. I'm like, you idiot.
Kill him, and then you just close the door.
Exactly. Right. Just like, it's like you're resetting a mouse trap one more time. Like, let's check this shit out. Right.
But what's happening here, right, it's the stories, right? This is exactly it, right? We've all got different stories, right? And that's what's amazing about that type of game. Right? And I think that's the power. And I think it's incredible just to hear it, right? I love seeing this because you're right. Battlegrounds is an incredible game. So love the trailer as well. I love the moment at the end. Like,
I watched that trailer like I don't even know how many times as we were getting ready for the show. Like I still laugh. Like thinking about that, I'm like that's awesome.
It's that game is really something. It's not the sort of game I would even expected myself to get into, but it is so special.
I almost never play competitive multiplayer games. I mean, you know, I've played, you know, round-based shooters off and on, but it's not like my thing. And then it's just one of those things where, you see the stories that people are sharing through video clips or, you know, just that they tell you about, and your friend plays it, and now you're just like, all right, well, this is insane. Crazy stuff is happening to me in the first round I'm playing, and it's just like, it's those moments of surprise, right? It's those moments of like, all right, even if it ended with me getting sniped when I was upside down in a car that I flipped, like, I lost, but it was hilarious.
I ran myself over with my own car.
Right.
Like,
a game that you lose and have fun with.
Yeah,
and still, like, that's, like, what more could you want, right?
Definitely.
It's one of those games where you watch it on Twitch or something, and you can't help but be drawn into it. And then sooner or later, you're like, I gotta be part of this. I'm gonna suck,
I need to know. Let's get in here. And I mean, like Forza has a huge community, you know, and with all the vinyls and the tuning and all this sort of stuff. But it seems like it's a somewhat different thing because it's like literally all right there in the game, or a lot of it is right there in the game to experience and kind of check out all those different decals and all that other stuff. Like what's it like fostering a community for that type of game, which seems like, you know, it's. I guess there are stories, right? I mean, certainly stories of races.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or we went out drifting, you know.
Exactly. In a game like Horizon 3, you go out on a road trip and you just go blast around with your buddies, and you can have experiences there that you'll never forget. But honestly, I'm a huge race fan from the very beginning, and I have races that have happened to me in my gaming career that I will never forget, right? And I tell people, and they glaze over, but that's the way it is, you know. It's like, they're important memories for me, and they've happened in Forza and other games as well. And yes, you can tell a story with in any genre and with any kind of tool. And in Forza, you know, you mentioned the livery editor, these where you create these vinyls for your car. They become really personal. I think one thing that is going to be interesting about Forza 7 is we've introduced this idea of race gear, and so players are going to have their own
race gear.
What's that?
Race gear.
Yeah, driver gear. That you
awesome.
Yeah. So the idea is. You will earn these helmets and these suits as you go through the game for doing single-player events, multiplayer events, community events, Forzathons, those kinds of things. And then you will have, this is really the first time we've brought the driver out of the car in Forza. So in the past, he's always been inside the car, and that's okay, but now we want to celebrate that. We want to put you in the pre-race. You can see everybody's suit before the race begins, and if they're in a convertible, you'll see them driving, and then after they'll be on the podium and that kind of thing. So really trying to bring that sense of personality and the fact that you own this player, you own this car, you own this livery, this is you in this world, hopefully becomes that just another tool to tell those kinds of stories.
And it seems like, the driver, since that stuff sounds like it's largely like unlockable, does that also maybe kind of serve as like, almost like a World of Warcraft character? When you see the sick pauldrons, you're like, that character's been playing a while, so it's like you have the best helmet.
Yeah, it's the same idea as Overwatch, right? You have, I want that Diva suit because that looks amazing. And so we have, you know, some of the things we've shown off in the BCDs at E3 this week have been like, some of my favorites are like classic Forza suits. So like the original Forza Motorsport in a race suit, or Forza 3, you know, it has such an iconic design with that really iconic white look to it.
Right.
It is in that, and it's there, and it just brings back memories as a Forza fan. It brings back memories for me. But also we've got silly stuff like a mummy thing, or like tux, you know. I mean, it's just
I was going to ask like how weird does that get?
It's just it gets everything from super realistic with the Hans device and all of those kinds of things you'd expect in a race car to like the classic racing suits from the 30s where the guy's wearing a leather helmet and something that will catch on fire really easily. You know?
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
That kind of thing is.
Excited.
Yeah, it just makes things that much more special for the player, I think.
Yeah.
You want to hear something weird? People always say this, that the games industry is super small, and the longer you're in it, the smaller it gets. So I just ran into Clint at the showcase for the first time in years. We worked together on BioShock Infinite. We were both designers on that game at the same time, and I was like, "You're Crackdown now!" Like, the funny thing is, on Tacoma, our animator Noelle, she used to work at Microsoft in like one of the art groups that like works on first party stuff and like does like, you know, helping out on. She helped out on Rise, Son of Rome, and she was on the team that she was talking about how it must have been like a couple few years ago, she was working on the driver hands for a Forza. Right? So it's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, oh yeah, she made some hands for one of your games a while back.
You know, it's funny. The guys back at Turn 10 are really excited because they get to flex some different jobs, right? For so long, we built cars, and we build really good-looking cars. That's our bread and butter. But now the guys are really psyched because they get to design these suits. They get to do animations with human characters. You know, it's like doing different things. And for them at home, it's really fun to see them get excited about, like, look how they're clapping. You know, it's like they're getting really fired up about it because it's just new muscles that they're stretching.
Oh, and character customization is just fun. I mean, putting outfits on customizing your character is just universally good.
For sure. Well, I've had about enough of you.
Oh my God! Wait, what did I do, Chad?
You're over here dropping names about. I know someone who worked on Forza. I know someone on this. BioShock.
It's over for me.
So if you could just
exit the premise,
get your shit and get the fuck out.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm sorry that Jeff is being a monster and throwing me off of the show, but we know how he is. It's fine. It's fine. I won't take it personally.
I can be moody. Yeah. No.
But it's all in the service of the art.
Of course, it is.
I got to run to the freaking airport, but it's been good hanging out with you guys. Chatting with you guys. All right. Have a good rest of your E3.
All right.
Sorry, I got to leave E3.
Go finish your game. Go finish your game.
Portland awaits.
Bye, everybody.
Get it done. Jeez. So, with Crackdown having such a vastly different multiplayer, I mean, that sounds like, obviously games are different, single player and multiplayer, but this, with its kind of server connection and all this other stuff, sounds like it is dramatically different. Is there a lot of crossover in the work being done for campaign and the multiplayer, or is it just completely two different games?
So, you know, Sumo Digital is working on the campaign experience.
Right.
Dave Jones and Reagent are really focused on competitive multiplayer, but it was important for us that the core mechanics, the way the character moves, the abilities, just the overall feel, felt like the same game. We didn't want to put the player in a position where they suddenly had to learn.
Like this jump is different.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. And so the teams have worked really close together on making sure that they feel like they're the same game. But at the end of the day, destruction does change everything.
Oh, sure.
Adding the way people think about space, you give this crazy amount of agency to the player to just modify the world in any way they want.
Agency, nice.
Yeah, you see that?
See? Good. That was good.
Capital A.
Serious
On message.
It's just only got 2 more days you got to keep on.
I know, right? Don't say anything stupid from 48 more hours.
It's always day 3 though, right? In the BCDs, isn't
I
it?
know.
And behind closed doors, when you're tired of it, saying the same old thing and you just start leaking.
Exactly.
So that's,
Right, yeah.
That's
So
when you
someone
should
asks a
put
question,
the BCD is day 3, you'll get everything.
Yeah.
You walk out of the last
Honestly,
BCD and you're like, I was so close.
We almost made it.
I actually said Forza Motorsport 7 on our Friday stream last week by accident.
Oh, wow.
And everybody goes like, "Oh, what did you say?" I'm like, "Shut up, guys. Just shut up. I'm going to LA in 2 days."
Yeah. And also, I mean, also pretty
not a huge
surprise.
Right,
not a gigantic secret. Like when we booked our meetings for the show, like, you know, Microsoft PR sends over a list of just like, here's the stuff we're booking for, and it's like you look at it and go like, okay, Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, unannounced game.
Right.
And I'm just like, what? Oh, right, of course. Like it's Forza
unannounced game, Turn 10 Studios.
Yeah. Well, it's like sometimes, yeah. Or you'll start to ask questions like, when there's multiple unannounced games, you start to have to ask questions like, so if I had someone that was, let's say, a driving fan, which one of these appointments would I send them to?
Yes.
And usually after the press conference, we'll get the email that says, this is this game, this is this game. But sometimes before, you'll get that little wink and a nod, just like, maybe send the fighting game guy to this one, and you're driving one to this one. And it's a ridiculous song and dance, but that's the nature of this business. It's highly secretive, video games, in a way that, like, I see people, like, you know, pointing at film and going like, man, we should be way more like that and just talk about this stuff more openly.
You say that, right? But and I agree with you in a way, but for Sea of Thieves especially, since December we've been having our insiders playing a really early version of the game, and every week we tell them what we're doing, we post stuff on the forums, we give them an insider kind of update and everything else. And we talk about it in our podcasts, we release videos every week, and we've got into this rhythm of being open and transparent because we believe that to build a game with a community, and actually to build a community from scratch, because it's a new IP, right? We can't just rely on the rare fans of kind of yesterday and yesteryear, because it's a complete new experience, and you need to build that community. And we really felt being open and transparent, talking to them about what we were doing, and when things go wrong, because they do, and they have done in our alpha. You know, we've had matchmaking issues when we tried to scale too early, but we've been accountable, and we post on the forums. We tell them why, we tell them what we're fixing, and you build this real rapport with the players and with the community. And there, like, it came to a kind of head, I think, when myself and Mike, our design director, were just on a podcast, and there was a question or something, and he was like, what do I say to that? And I'm like, just tell the truth, Mike. And he's like, oh yeah. And it's like, it's kind of quite liberating to just actually be able to tell our players what are going on. And that they seem to appreciate it. Strangely, who knew that telling the truth would be a good idea?
Yeah.
But it really has been. And we've built this, sorry for waffling, but I really believe so passionately in what we're doing and in our community, that we've got this really strong, engaged community that they're visiting our forum all the time, they're talking about the game, they're giving us feedback, and the game's not out yet, and we've already got this kind of the lifeblood of what this type of game needs, and it's only going to grow, it's only going to get stronger, it's only going to hopefully stay positive, and so when we do finally kind of open up to the world, we're going to be in a super strong place, rather than trying to build awareness and a community and an audience from scratch.
Fixing what you think all the issues are, not what you actually learn the issues are when you throw all the people into an open, a shared world.
And that could be the servers, or it could be the gameplay, the game features, right? Because we've got our vision for it. But in a game where you're putting the players in there and kind of encouraging them to have these great stories and go on their own adventures and all that stuff, like, really, you're not quite sure what they're going to do with those tools you give them. So yeah, absolutely right.
And then, I'm sure people latch onto things that you didn't maybe think were going to be like big marquee things. Like, oh, well, let's maybe shift in that direction a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, because we survey them every time we play. Even before the PC audience got into the game, we sent them a big survey about, like, here's what we think the top 10 things are. Tell us what order we should do them. And luckily, we were kind of 9 out of 10 times right. But we did make some shifts, and then the first time we played, we prioritized push to talk after that, because they were really like, hey, we need this. And so it's super cool to be to be working with a kind of early adopter community, the people that want to come in early and help shape it, and they feel like they're part of the game. And
definitely.
And they should, because they are, right?
So, and then something like Crackdown, I mean, just go dark. Just darkness. I remember going to the.
There are other ways.
Well, but I guess, like different games are gonna probably require different there'll be different circumstances.
Yeah.
So.
Of course, you've got a completely different set of expectations to us, right? Because you're Crackdown, right? And the players know what they want, and they tell you what.
And we have Crackdown fans are incredibly rabid, right? And the interesting thing about Crackdown. That I was learning as I was a huge fan of the franchise, but when I joined the team in the very, very early days, I was like, all right, let me go do my normal research, right? Like, what do players talk about? What do they remember? And everybody kind of has a different experience. And everybody remembers orbs, right? But for some people, it was the completely open-ended structure. It was the fact that the entire city was available. You could go after these crime bosses in any way you wanted. For some, it was just screwing around with their friends and stacking 10 cars on top of each other and creating these cascading explosions. Right. For others, it was grabbing light poles and beating people to death with them. Like, it just meant a different thing to every single person. It's one of the things I thought was really interesting about the game. But obviously, like, for us, it's like, then we have to bring this back the right way.
Yeah. And you've got all that stuff, right? I'm just checking.
Yeah. That's all in there. That is absolutely.
Will there be cars I get into and the cars transform?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's that wasn't on your list, and I'm like,
no, that's in there. That's in there. So, for me, the driving skill was, in many ways, the forgotten skill in the original.
Totally.
And I wanted to find a way to kind of push that forward and make players feel like it was an extension of their arsenal, so it wasn't just a way to get around, but also a part of their combat experience. So we're going to do a big blowout on the transforming vehicle and how we're doing that with the driving skill, but it's still a big part of the game.
Cool. And I imagine just with both Crackdown and Forza being kind of these showpiece games for Xbox One X, like, then that probably adds in another layer of just like, well, there's a lot of stuff we could talk about, but this hardware hasn't even been announced yet, so let's hang back and not say anything. Yeah.
Well, for us at least, we had that going on, but we also debuted a car.
Right.
On stage.
Okay, yeah.
So that was the first time that we'd ever done that. Like, we've shown cars on stage before, of course.
Right.
But no one in the world really knew about the 911 GT2 RS until Sunday.
And that got huge. Like, the automotive press was like...
Yeah.
I mean, it got big pickup, not just like maybe more in auto press than even in gaming
I definitely
press.
saw someone like in our chat room during our stream going like, well, I certainly didn't think I would see the new Porsche here at this thing. That's pretty awesome. So yeah.
It's an entirely different level of
meetings and signing
exactly
secrets
of those kinds of discussions that you have to have.
Yeah.
And which is why that top of my head nearly blew off when I said Forza 7 last Friday. So
right. Yeah.
I was like, but that's just the way it is. And but that's kind of the fun too, because for people who love cars, who love Porsches, it's a great moment for us because it really focuses on the partnership that we've got with Porsche. But hopefully for car fans, that's a really special moment when that thing turns around and there's the cover car.
I just want like a nice, 68 to 72 Chevy Nova.
I know.
Gunmetal gray.
Oh, man of my own heart. I like it.
Something nice. 327.
I know your taste.
Just want to smoke the tires off something.
327.
I'm all muscle cars.
I grew up around drag racing.
Okay. Well, yeah.
So we had a 69 Nova with a 454 big block blowing
out
nitrous.
into it, guys.
Yeah, my dad had a 68 Impala with a 454 in it.
Oh, good choice.
Just bright red. Oh man, that car. Just you stomped on it. The car was so heavy, you needed that 454 in it. But once it got up to speed, it was a problem.
All that torque.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
As long as you don't turn, everything's fine.
Yeah.
You just want to go in a straight line.
Exactly. And so, I mean, Chris, working with a lot of the independent developers and stuff like that, it's been fun for us, certainly. I don't know how it's been on your end, but like independent developers kind of don't give it. They're out there talking.
It's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, they're out there just saying whatever.
I sometimes don't like talking about my job because because I am bragging. It sounds like I'm bragging. Like, it's amazing. Like, I used to be a developer and I got to hang out with tons of developers at events and everything like that, and everybody was cool. And then like all of a sudden I went from like, working with them, that way, just being pals, to like actually getting to work with them directly and help them. But we just see such amazing stuff like on a daily basis, whether it's, like a cool adventure game or an insane 1 versus 100, combat game. Or
are you saying 1 versus 100 is
No,
coming
I'm
back?
not.
I was in. I was in. I was in.
Person battle royale.
Someone in marketing is something.
I almost did a 1 versus 100 tweet, but no. 100-person battle royale game, or everything in between. It's like really like, and you saw like the briefing had the Artful Escape, which like is just like, I don't know if you guys saw it, but crazy. I mean, it's amazing, and so I get to work with those people every day, and try and help them, and hopefully they have success, and everything's cool, and it's just. It's so much fun. Like, it's just unbelievable.
It's been really just great this generation, I think, watching like the console manufacturers really get into these kind of games in a way that they were really only on the PC before, and having like advocates in place to kind of help voice their concerns up the chain, or help them out wherever. Like it's been
and it's paid off for Xbox too. I mean, like it's not like we're doing this. We're not a charity. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure,
we want to do the right thing, obviously, but like we developers have huge success on Xbox One, and that's because players love those games and love that variety. So it's been awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, you guys, I think I'm going to let you go and get off into the night and have fun and enjoy the rest of your E3 and all that stuff. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
Great talking to you. Yeah. And for the rest of you folks at home, we'll be back momentarily with our next set of guests. Stay tuned. And thanks for watching. We'll be back soon.